All right, welcome to another Sailing Doodles podcast. I'm gonna get my cameras correct here. I'm not sure which one I'm looking into there. So I'm trying a new setup here. I apologize, the quality's not great. There are new cameras and everything, but I just don't have lighting here. Where I am right now, the lighting is just not too great. So if you're watching this, sorry. But let me get right into this one, and then I'll kind of set you up with what we're doing. So ask me anything. And first question is from Schmoops Adventures. That'd be Jen and Eric. And the question is, are you buying a place in Thailand to retire? You seem like you love it there. Cheers to you guys. So no, I'm not buying a place in Thailand. Should you retire there? Yes. The short of the answer is that it's real easy to get a retirement visa in Thailand. For $50, if you're age 50, then you can qualify for a retirement visa. And I believe you only have to show that you have something like maybe $20,000 in the bank or some kind of annuity or payment that gets you not very much, like $1,500 or $1,200 a month, something like that. And so it's really, super affordable to live there. So it's kind of like, okay, if you could retire, I don't know. So say, just for math's sake, you want to retire, and when you do, you budget having $100,000 a year to live on, and you think you can make that happen at age 67. Okay, so you're like, I got to work until age 67 if I'm going to live on $100,000 a year in, I don't know, Annapolis, Maryland, or you probably couldn't afford it for that, but wherever, Ohio, Tennessee, something like that. So you could have that same quality of life, except do it for $40,000 in Thailand. So, okay, now when can I get $40,000 a year and live on that? Maybe I can do that at age 55 instead of age 67. So I get to retire 12 years earlier than I would have had if I wanted to stay in the United States. I mean, like the cost of living is about a third in Thailand versus what it is in the United States. So you could easily retire much earlier and have the same quality of life. And for all you bachelors out there, being just a normal American walking down the street, I mean, it's like, I don't know. I mean, like, yes, they're all after your money and all that, but I mean, like, there's girls trying to talk to you all the time. So there's that, right? And the quality of life's pretty good. I mean, Bangkok's a big city. I don't know if I'd want to live there. Pattaya is a bit too much of a red light district. I don't think I'd want to live there either, but I could maybe do Koh Chang or maybe Phuket. I could do something like that, although Phuket is very touristy. So you have to consider that. And then Phuket's a lot more expensive than the rest of the country, but you can easily, retire there 15 years earlier than you could if you lived in the United States. The only downside is, in my opinion, about living in Thailand is that it's so far. Like if you want to come back to the U.S. to visit family or something, it's a 30-hour, 24-hour travel time to get home, and it's exactly 12 hours off the United Central U.S. So there's a lot of jet lag going each way. So if you're going to go home to the States and visit family or do something like that, you really got to, you make a long trip out of it. But other than that, I mean, you can get anything you want there. It's great food, very healthy living. The doctors are very good and very cheap. The dental care there, you don't need insurance for anything. Like your average doctor's visit is probably less than $50. If you want cosmetic surgery and all, or whatever you want to do there, it's super cheap there. It's probably a tenth the price as it would be in the US. And a doctor visit is nothing. It's like $20-$30 to go visit the doctor, and they have everything you would need there. Yeah, if you come down with like cancer or something, you probably want to come back to the US for that. But if you break a bone or do something like just whatever, you need a dental implant or something, I mean, it's much cheaper to do it in Thailand. So go there. So I wanted to start off with that question because I kind of wanted to, I kind of like to have a title for the episode. So I just briefly scrolled through the comments from our patrons and channel members. So you can go to patreon.com/sailingdoodles and become a patron. Or if you're watching on YouTube, this is actually on the Sailing Doodles podcast, but if you go to the Sailing Doodles channel, you become a channel member there, and then I have answering questions from them. So I will start with our patrons. And let me tell you, I'm trying a new camera setup here. I like this system. It's a little low light in here. Like I need more lighting, and I think the quality of the picture would be a lot better. But the camera switching is pretty easy to do. So yeah, I just got to figure out which camera to look in and all that, depending on what's going on. But all right, next question. And so I'm actually going to put this system in my new boat, which would be nice. And I'm going to have it permanently mounted, so then I can just go down to my computer in the office and hit record. And I got a new podcast coming because I wanted to be able to do more podcasts, but setting up this, like I'm in an Airbnb right now. So setting this whole thing up, like you can't see it. Well, maybe I'll just show you. Yeah. So like, that's on a dog food box. That's on a shoe box. And then I got my stuff going on here. It's just not ideal. And then I'm kind of making do to get all this to work. So, anyway. All right. Jason Colbreth, he's a patron. Since, let's see, does it tell me that? I forget. I don't think it does. Oh, it does. Since 2020. Thank you, sir. Uh-oh. All right. Sorry. Have you guys considered doing a calendar with all the hotties? Yeah. Amanda has talked about doing that. You can ask her more about it. If we did something, I'd let the girls do it and let them take any income from it because it's them, right? So she's thought about doing that. So yeah, and you check her out. Check her Patreon account out. Patreon.com/Amanda Zachary Zakri, or check her out on Instagram and give her some more encouragement to do that, and then get some of the other ladies to do it. All right, let's see here. Then we got Jen and Eric again, Smooch Adventure, members since 2020. Thanks again. On your new boat, if your batteries were to completely die, how long would it take to completely recharge them using solar only? In other words, if your diesel engine fails, can you effectively run the boat on electric? At the same time, how much diesel fuel does it take to charge the batteries for a full range, and how much does that compare to the range you get using conventional diesel power? Okay, first off, the solar panels do not power the drive bank. They only power the house bank. The reason being is that I have 5,000 watts of solar. You'll never see 5,000 watts. I have 4,800. The most I've seen so far, and on a perfect day, it was cloudless and like sun directly overhead, I've seen it making 4,000 watts. So even at 4,000 watts, but you're not going to average that. I mean, say on a good day, you're averaging 3,500 watts for 6 hours. So we'll just say 4,000 times 6 hours. So that's 24,000 watts of charging. That would get you 1 hour on at 6 knots. I mean, it's 20,000 watts. To go 6 knots on the boat, 6 miles, is about 20,000 watts. So you would need 6 hours of charging to get that 1 hour of moving the boat. Not really worth it to do all that. And then that's under ideal conditions. Like you had a great sunny day. If it's overcast, forget it. You're only getting, you're barely, but then you're using all that power. You're not charging off your house bank, right? So you're never really going to get all that. So I said 24,000 watts in 6 hours. Really, you're only going to get half of that. So 12,000 watts over 6 hours. So that'll get you about half an hour running the motor. So it's for 6 hours. So it's not worth doing. The diesel generator uses about 3 to 4 gallons an hour, depending on the load. And it would take approximately four to like from completely down to 20% on the house bank, probably about 4 to 5 hours to recharge the drive bank. So you just do that, and then you can move the boat 10 hours at 6 knots. So that's what, make sure the dogs aren't getting into trouble over there. So yeah. Hey, sorry. They were crying. They're over there wrestling. They wrestle really hard sometimes and then, hurt each other and then somebody cries. So, all right. Will Miller, patron since October of 21. Bobby, your life is pretty exciting, but I am sure it will soon get to new delivery and take official delivery of Maverick. Can you tell us your plans for the next 12 to 18 months? Any plans to eventually bring the new boat over to Europe, as it would be good to see you sail there again? So the boat will be delivered to Florida, hopefully around by the end of the year. And so from there, it'll be in the Miami Boat Show, which is mid-February. After the Miami Boat Show, just a real quick run through the Bahamas. Like, oh my gosh, they're. I think my dogs are gay or an incest because they just hump each other all the time. Okay, hey boys, boys. Sorry, I'm trying not to yell into the microphone. Okay, they stopped finally. Nothing, not that there's anything wrong, but the incest part there is. Whatever, whatever. They're dogs. Who cares? So then we'll run to the. I think I've mentioned it several times. We'll haul butt to. I'd like to be in like St. Martin by the end of March, and then I don't know, do a lap through the Caribbean. The earliest I would cross the South Pacific would be spring of 26, more likely spring of 27, because I would like to spend a season cruising up and down Central America, go across the South Pacific, and then, that's going to be a long trip getting around over to Europe, like another 3 or 4 years before getting the boat over to Europe. So that's just, hey, that's the plan for now. I mean, plans change. You never know. Something might come up. All right. So, William Resch, member since October 21. Which kennel in Ohio did you purchase the cute dogs from? Congrats on the new additions to the boat. Thanks. So, Premier Pups. They're based out of, near Columbus, Ohio. They were really cool, really friendly. They were followed up really well, and they have they were really easy to deal with. So, I don't have a problem recommending them. All right, James Gardner, a member since March of 29. I didn't mean to actually click that. Sorry, I lost my little. All right. Uh-oh. It says James Gardner. There we go. Have you ever had a boat broken into while you guys were on shore? And have you ever worried about being boarded and unwanted intruders while at sea? No, never been broken into. It's about where you leave your boat. I know it happens, but it's mostly, lock your boat when you leave. Especially if you're in a suspicious area, and then just don't go to bad areas, right? I mean, don't go to where you have to worry about piracy and all that. Maybe sometimes it's unavoidable, but just don't sail in those waters, right? And that's the number one defense I tell people. People worry about it a lot. It does happen very infrequently, and most of the time, like, there's just bad luck. There was some people that got murdered out of Grenada last year, but that was some escaped criminal. Like, three dudes escaped from prison and like stole a boat with the people on it, and it was pretty bad. But that was a prison escape. I mean, piracy. They were on a marina on land, so they just broke in the marina and took it. Yeah, so keep your boat locked. I guess that's the main thing. But I don't worry about it too much. All right, Maxime Prowl. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say your name. Member since September of 18. Wow, a long time. Thank you. Let's see here. I didn't see any answer to my question last time, so I'm asking it again. Sorry. What is the software or plugin you use for your boat animations? They're very cool. Also, did you have any issues to film your drone in some locations while traveling because of airspace restrictions? Finally, did you ever crash a drone while piloting it? If so, what's the story? Thanks again. Cheers from Montreal. So the new animation, so I was using a After Effects script that I purchased, and it worked well. A little time consuming making it, a little tedious making it, and then I had to do a few extra steps. The new one is called Travel Boast. It's an app on your phone, and I just create the travel map on my phone, and then I send that to my computer, and then they do it. It's super easy. It takes literally, depending on how complicated the route I make, it takes mere minutes to do, not even, maybe 45 seconds to a minute to make. Upload to my phone and done. Super easy. I'm really excited about that. Makes my life a lot easier. Also, did you have any issues with filming my drone in some locations? So I do have my drone pilot's license from the FAA, but I almost never fly my drone in American water, so it's not applicable. There are some restriction areas where where you're no fly zones that you can't, like, too close to airports and stuff. So you got to watch out for that. Boys, will you quit doing that, please? They need to stop. All right, guys. I'm looking at you. Yes, I'm shaming you. Okay. But my old Phantom 4, I had you can buy like a patch that software unlocks it, so it's no longer geo restricted. I mean, I'm not saying I've ever done that, but I'm saying you can do that. Not that I've ever flown that in American territory anyway. If I did do that, which I didn't, but you can. There's ways around stuff if you need to. Anyway, that's all I'll say about that. I've ever crashed a drone? Not really. I mean, sorta. I had my first drone operated, I believe, on the same frequency as some Wi-Fi or something, and I got too close to a boat that had Wi-Fi, and it kind of lost control. Luckily, it crashed into our own boat, and I was able to save it. And then I've just clipped, yeah, I mean, it hit a tree once or twice, but I've never lost a drone. So yeah. All right, Glenn Goodall, you guys have been members since March of 22. Thanks. Amanda just gets hotter and hotter. I agree. Just have to ask, any wedding plans in the future? Plus, what's your first trip in Maverick? Sorry to see Lauren not rejoin, but truthful Amanda must come first. She is the best. Take care of each other, Glenn and Jackie. No wedding plans. First trip, I already kind of talked about that. If we get it early enough, we'll maybe hop over to the Bahamas. Like if it comes in and by the end of the year and we have a couple months to kill where we can go take a month and go cruising through the Bahamas, maybe we'll do that. We'll see. And then, yeah, Lauren, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, she was supposed to be joining us for this trip that we're starting tomorrow. And then last minute, she kind of opted out. I haven't really, she said she had too much going on and too busy, whatever. So yeah, whatever. I'm not going to get into too much there. I know that anyway. All right, Rob Graham, member since 23. Thank you, sir. Do you plan on chartering out or renting out your extra cabin once in a while? If so, how much roughly? I'd love to come join you sometime, live vicariously through your videos. I've thought about it. I guess really it depends on if I need to or not to make ends meet. But the problem is it's only a 3 cabin boat, and if we got me and Amanda and I on one side, and say we have more crew on the other side, that only leaves one empty cabin. If I were going to do it, maybe I'd do it when we don't have the extra crew, and so that I could rent out 2 cabins. And I mean, a boat like that would charter for $18,000 or $20,000 a week, probably. I mean, so like if I were to do it, I'd probably charge. I mean, just because I don't really want to do it, and if somebody wants to pay that much, then great. I'd probably charter each of the other 2 cabins out for like 10 grand for the week, and maybe do that a couple times a year just to help ends meet. But we'll see how it goes. We still will plan on doing patron giveaways though. So like we're still going to do some flotillas and stuff, and when we have the new boat, we'll give a cabin away to our patron to join us for free. So for a price of $10 a month becoming a patron or whatever you want to do, you can be entered in the next drawing, which we're planning another flotilla in February after the Miami Boat Show. It hasn't been booked yet, but it's in the works. So if that happens and it gets booked, then we'll do a drawing for a patron to join us, and you get to join for free, only for the cost of a patron. Curtis Swan, member since January. Thank you. Bobby, has the implication strategy been successful? Wink, asking for a friend. So what he's talking about there is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. It's Always Funny in Philadelphia. I put that in a video recently. It's called The Implications, where, you take a girl out on the boat, you're in the middle of the ocean, there's nowhere to go. I mean, it's the implications there might be danger. No, but that's stupid. It's a joke. It's comedy. Don't take that seriously. I don't want to get canceled for that crap. It's a joke. It's funny. Whatever. Laugh at its comedy, please. All right. Mark Krenzer. Member since May of 2020. Have you considered buying backup components for the 525's electrical power train? If Island Spirit is going to push electric power option, will they or the electric manufacturer keep components on hand to ship around the world as ASAP? Also, since most automotive repair shops still scared to turn a wrench on EV hybrid systems, how do you get a typical marina who's 20 years behind on modern tech to work on your boat? Well, so all the components are like commercial equipment. Like the electric motors are, I believe they're like bus motors, right? I mean, and so there's 500,000 of those running around, electric buses. So you have and that's the thing, is like super easy. I mean, it's a I don't know how much they weigh, but probably a lot, but they're small, right? You need to change one out. It's not that expensive to change one of those motors out. And so you have a problem, you can order one, get one shipped in there, replace the electric motor, no problem. The generator, from what I understand, they're switching over to a Yanmar generator, a big one. So Yanmar, you can get stuff worked on everywhere. Uh, it should be kind of plug and play components for the most part, and they're commercial stuff that's available everywhere. So hopefully, you get a commercial bus company to come work on your boat if you really need to. So, I mean, that's something to consider. You can do a traditional option. For the you can put Yanmars in there. The one you can put a couple 80 horsepower Yanmars or 110 horsepower Yanmars in there and go traditional route. Go for it. So, all right, Chad, member since March of 18, long time. Thank you. Oh wait, yeah. Favorite places to cruise in the Med and why? What are the positives and the negatives? I'd say offhand, my favorite place would be Greece, just because I love the food, I love the culture. It's super cheap, and it's easy to get around. There's only a few places. Like the Cyclades can be hard to sail because they're, you got the Meltemi winds that can make things a little difficult at times. But northwestern Greece and all that is beautiful and much less populated and super cheap. I mean, that's the great thing about it. It's just super cheap, in my opinion. Let's see here. I need to move that over. Move over. Okay, I won't move over. Anyway, and then the negatives are. Well, I mean, the negatives is you only get 30 to 90 days in the in the Schengen zone. Now, what you can do, I believe, is put yourself as crew on the yacht. So you have to have the yacht registered to like an LLC, which most people do anyway. I register my boats in an LLC. I mean, I think you should instead of in your personal name. Just gives you some security there. And then you list yourself as captain or crew on the boat, and then. So you are now crew on the yacht, and then you can take it wherever you need to go. And then if you leave the boat, like if you leave the marina in that general vicinity, you have to check in with the port captain. He stamps you out of the boat and into the country on your passport. And then that starts your 90 days and you go do whatever you do. And then you come back and he stamps you out of the country and back into the boat. So that's a way around that from what I've heard. I haven't done it yet. Maybe when I get to that point, I will, when I want to spend some time in the Med, I'll do that. Other places in the Med really liked. I mean, Corsica was amazing and Sardinia. And then Mallorca's awesome to sail. You can't go wrong. I really enjoyed Croatia, but it was very expensive. And so was Italy. Italy was, well, most of Italy's not expensive, but you go to Amalfi and all those places are very expensive. So I like the cheaper places in the Med. And I'm back. Sorry about that, guys, but he was scratching at the door, and I thought he might have to go. Trying to teach them. They haven't had an accident in the house in like 4 or 5 days, so it's kind of nice. All right. So let's see here. Let's continue on. Swede pilot, member since March of 18. I mean, wow, you guys have been here a long time. Thanks. Asks, do the wind's current problems literally bother you since you are also flying the A model of Island Spirit? Do you think the hybrid boat is still so much in their infancy that there are way more bugs to be worked out involving salt water and electricity? As they say, never fly the A model. Yeah, well, I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, I actually did watch their video the other day about their problems. Seems to me, I mean, the electrical problems are coming from their engine, not their electrical system. They said they've isolated their stray current, so they have stray current that's causing corrosion on all their and electrolysis on their boat is one of their problems. Apparently, they have some more. Yeah, I mean, it's they said they've isolated it to coming from their engine, not from. And they have, I think, some Beta Marine engines, which I don't like Beta Marine anyway. I just don't like Beta Marines. Yeah, I mean, so. That's something to consider. I mean, I it's something I will definitely keep an eye on the new boat. But hopefully, this system has been designed well enough. You're not going to have that problem. I hope so. We'll see. But yeah, I'm the guinea pig for everybody. But there's got to be somebody, right? And I mean, let's say, I mean, there's no other way I could afford this boat, right? I mean, I'm obviously getting a pretty good deal on the boat. I mean, but if I were to have to pay retail for it, I can't afford a $1.5 million boat. There's no way I could get this boat otherwise. So I don't mind being the big guinea pig. All right. Schmoops, member since December 20. You guys, thanks again. No, I already answered that question. Let's go into Martin S. Member since March or September, a new one. Has the 525 been checked for stray current? The winds are having problems. Okay, I guess because they just put this video out, I'm probably going to get a lot of those questions. We didn't notice anything when we were sailing it, but it's something I'm going to keep an eye on. I didn't notice any. It had only been in the water for a week or less when I got to the boat, and we only had it in the water for a week. So it's, I'll have to check all the zincs and the corrosion and the points and all that. But I didn't notice any undue rusting and all that. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, that's going to be one of those things. Once it's in the water long enough, I'll have to check it. So, all right, let's continue on here. John Hibbard, member since November. Oh, just a brand new one. Thank you. Love your videos and live vicariously through your adventures. Also, the twins are so cute. At the risk of asking a none of my business question, may I ask how you support yourselves? I'm not asking for detailed financials, just in general, through monetization of social media, through a rich uncle, etc. I am all for you, however you do it. I'm just curious as your lifestyle is one that most people can only dream about. Continued success and keep up the great work. Well, thank you. So yeah, I mean, so when I started this whole thing, I paid $25,000 for I sold everything I own. And I had, I don't know, probably around $50,000 or $60,000, something like that. I mean, that's all I had. And I bought a $24,000 boat, put a couple thousand into it, and went cruising and making videos. About 10 months later, I was hoping that extra 25 grand would get me a year. I was maybe a little optimistic. So I was kind of doing the YouTube thing to kind of offset some costs, and probably 8 months in, I ran out of money. But I was at that point, I was earning enough on YouTube and Patreon, especially Patreon back then, to make a living on. The ad rates have gone up a lot now, so YouTube makes a bigger chunk of it. But it's generally half of the income comes from YouTube ads, like if you see an ad on YouTube, and then half is from Patreon. Oh gosh. Well, we had a pooper. When I was just praising you guys about how good you've been. Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, so back to it. About 50-50 income from YouTube and from Patreon. Although I am going to be probably switching Patreon to a different... I'll keep Patreon. So, don't worry. If you're a patron, you want to stay with Patreon, you can stay with Patreon. I'll keep doing everything we've done in the past. But they've changed their policy. Apple has made them change their billing, which is going to be hurting creators. Plus, then Apple will be taking 30%, plus then Patreon taking 10%. I mean, so 40%? Are you kidding me? So, I'm switching over to a different system that I control, and then I'll give more access to... so with that system, you'll get access to not only the Patreon benefits, but... you get access to the benefits of all the other channels. I'm going to kind of have a combined thing. So you can get access to the Flying Doodle stuff, the Glamping Doodle stuff, the podcast stuff, all the behind the scenes stuff for all those channels. And then also access to the sailing school that I created online and the seminars that I've done and stuff like that. So it'll be an all-in-one stop shop, and hopefully it'll be what more people want. So yeah, I'll be changing all that. Plus, and then there's also a smattering of direct ads. I've just got one I've got to film today. There's about it from a scent bird. They're I don't know, scent company, but you'll see it later. So Robert Conley, member since July of 21. Will you be doing multi-day sales? No short time with the dogs. How do you boat train? All good with Amanda. A bit worried about the mention of difficulties with Laura. Hang on, your main squeeze. She's a keeper. Yes, we'll be doing multi-day sales. I bought today for the sale we're going to do. I just bought some. Now the fake grass is getting really good, and my plan is I'm just going to put fake grass on one of the trampolines, and that whole thing will be their potty. They go to the bathroom there. Boat training is about like house training for small dogs like this. Maverick and Goose had a problem with it because they were so well house trained that they didn't want to go even on the deck outside. But these guys have no problem pooping in the house, do you? Now they're just wrestling on the couch. So that'll be that. And then, all good with Amanda. Her and Lauren didn't really get along very well. So I don't know. It is what it is. But okay. Sort of a Mart. I don't know how you say that. It's got some things on there since January of 21. Thank you, sir. Your new boat, all the glitches now fixed. If anything happens, how many qualified mechanics are around in your cruising routes? How you managed or are planning to manage those risks? So, I mean, I'm hopefully they've ironed out all the little kinks, but there'll always be some more that you find. It's a brand new boat. And then, I mean, I'm pretty handy. I can do most things myself, and a lot of it's just going to be software issues. Oh my gosh, guys, these dogs. I mean, it's damn near getting hard to do a podcast, and it's like having toddlers running around, and I have to, yeah. I mean, make sure I don't get into crap, poop everywhere. Anyway, I love them, but sometimes, like right now, they're a handful. Like I would like them to be sleeping, but no. Oh well. Because we did a 2-3 hour car ride today up to Palm Beach to get some stuff out of my storage unit to go sailing. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, like qualified mechanics. I mean, like I do most of the work myself, and actually, I think I'll be able to do even more work myself now because like my shortcoming when sailing has always been like engines. I'm not an engine guy, right? Whereas this, I mean, now it's all electrical stuff. I don't think I'll have a problem with it. Electrical, I've always been pretty good at dealing with. So hopefully. All right, Pravin, member since August of 24. Guys, I don't know if you can hear them wrestling in the background, but boys, hey, oh my gosh. Okay, maybe they've settled down. Ask what happened to all the nudity and fun-loving nakedness. Yeah, I'm wondering the same thing. I don't tell anybody to get naked. I don't force anybody to do anything. I mean, if they want to get naked and whatever, that's great. Just the current crews I've had for the last year don't want to do that, and that is their prerogative. I mean, sure, I'd love to be able. I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, like Delos used to be the naked party channel. Now they got a kid, right? I mean, we'll see what happens going forward. I don't know. I would like for there to be more too, but I can't do anything about it. So it is what it is. Let's see here. Chris Armstrong, member since November of 23. How long after anchoring do you feel comfortable to leave the boat and not worry about dragging? Well, if you set your anchor right, I'm fine right away. I mean, set your anchor. Hey, no, Merlin, no, put it down. No, Merlin. They're getting to that age now where they're like rebelling a bit. He knows to know that what no means, and he knows not to like chew on that. And then he's looking at me like, "Oh, what are you going to do about it?" I'm like, "Well, okay, I'm hitting stop on this camera, and I'm going to go make sure you put that thing down." Anyway, so, but no, if you set your anchor properly, so you at least 5-to-1 ratio. So if you're in 20 feet of water, put 100 feet of chain out, and then so then I back down so I just mostly let the wind and current pull us back straight, and then once it's relatively taut on the anchor, I put it in reverse until it kind of pulls taut even more, and then once it's really taut and there's no real slack in the line, then I back down even more on the throttle, right? So bring it up to like 1500 RPM, and then do a sight line, see if you're moving. If you're dragging, then reset it, go do something else. And it's if you set your anchor properly and you really test it, you shouldn't have that problem. And then I set the bridle and do all that. So yeah, that's kind of the thing. I really don't worry about it too much, as long as I know I've set the anchor properly. All right, last patron question, Zachary Show, member since September. Thank you, sir. How do I join your crew? Well, you can maybe win the drawing to come visit us on the next flotilla. That's the thing right now. All right, let's go to the questions from our channel members. So if you don't feel like becoming a channel member, you can, patron, you can, on YouTube itself, you can hit join and become a channel member on Sailing Doodles. So Thomas Brannick, member of 6 months. Thank you. Longtime watcher, new member. Love the shows. Do you expect issues with the new cat? Other channels have had a bunch of issues with their new boats. So are you ready for warranty issue? Oh, I mean, it's a boat, right? It's going to be something. So yes, I am ready for that. Hopefully, I mean, we went over and did a test sail. Hopefully we have most of the kinks worked out already. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, I trust the manufacturer. I know they will keep up and make sure things are right. All right. Dave Tingwald, he is a new member. Thank you. Is there a place, country, island you haven't visited before but definitely want to? I mean, the first thing popped in my head would be Australia and New Zealand. I've seen Australia and sailed by it and used the phone on the Australian network, but never touched land there. And so, yeah, I would like to do that. And then, I don't know, maybe the Maldives or something. I hear they're pretty awesome. So, all right. I don't know what the dogs are doing over there, but all right, Rick, you member for a year and 10 months. Thank you. It's probably about the longest I've had the channel membership on there. Too bad about Lauren, but Amanda rules. No complaints with her. So when is delivery scheduled for the cat? I just asked earlier, when is the shipping date? I believe there is a November shipping date towards the end, like middle or end of the month. It already is the middle of the month that they were looking at doing, and it's 45 days in transit. So I kind of don't think they're going to make that one. And then there's a December shipping date, which means I get the boat sometime in January. I mean, they want to do as much as they can to kind of make sure everything's right on the boat, because they don't want to have problems like the winds have had and all that. So they're taking their extra time to iron out all the kinks. So it's just kind of a pain in the ass for me, but hopefully they'll fix it. Christopher Basil, member of 5 months. What's the range of the new cat? Could you do a transatlantic crossing with the batteries and 1 tank of fuel? Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, like motor the entire time? No. But no sailboat can motor the entire transatlantic. That's why you have sails. But, I mean, on the batteries at 6 knots, we're doing 10 hours. At 5 knots, we're doing close to 20 hours. And then, I guess... I forget, it has 275 gallons of it's like 1,000 liters. I think it's 280 gallons, whatever that is. It's 1,000 liters, and it uses like 3 to 4 gallons an hour. The generator does to run everything, but you can cycle that on and off, right? So the generator charges the batteries at 57 kilowatts. The motors only use 20 kilowatts at 6 knots. Right? So you could cycle that on and off. So run the generator that's running the motors while you're charging the batteries, and that takes to charge up, because you're only doing about half your output to charge the batteries, half your output to run the motors. So then, it takes 7 or 8 hours to recharge the batteries fully, turn the generator off, and then you're on the batteries for another 10 hours. So you can run your generator essentially half the day, and then your batteries are half the day. And so that way you can really extend your range. So just call it 3 gallons an hour and say there's 300 gallons, which there's just slightly less than that, whatever. 3 gallons an hour. So you'd essentially get 100 hours of generator usage. And so then you could alternate battery and generator. So it doubles that range. So now you're at 200 hours. So you're at almost, you're at 8 days of motoring continuously, but if you're doing a transatlantic, you should be sailing. So that's the plan anyway. So let's see here. Michael Burke, 2 years and 3 months. Wow. I recognize the name. So you've been on there a long time. So thank you, sir. He says, just ditto to Rick Yu, and Rick Yu said Amanda rules. No complaint, wins the schedule. So there you go. All right, guys. I got some dogs I got to check on because I don't know what they're doing. I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much. Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Next time I'll have better lighting in here. Well, I won't be in here doing the next one. I can't wait till I get the new boat and I have a proper studio set up, and I'm not doing this on an Airbnb dining room table, and I have proper lighting and better stuff. But thank you guys for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. Like I said, our patrons, if you want one of these questions answered on the next video, become a patron, patreon.com/sailingdoodles, or a channel member on Sailing Doodles. So, and then I will have some new stuff out for you soon. Thank you guys, and we'll see you on the next video.